Hi guys, it's Lori. How you doing today? I had a couple calls this morning. Oddly enough, two in the same day about curses. And are they real? Can it really happen? Can somebody really do this to me? Could it be a curse? Is it something I've done? And you know what? Yeah, it can be a curse. I know there are people out there that say, no, 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 that doesn't happen. But I can tell you that it does, okay? I can tell you firsthand that it does. There are people out there. There are actually people. Now, let's remember the United States is not the whole world, okay? Are there people in the US that do curses? Yeah. Um, but there are people out there in the US and other countries available via internet and telephone in this day of technology. I mean, everybody's right next door that actually do this for a living. I was just talking with somebody the other day who knows someone in Romania, and she calls herself a witch, okay, but not to be mistaken with, maybe somebody who's Wiccan or something, who are also called witches, okay? But I'm not talking about the religion of Wicca. I'm talking about this woman who calls herself a witch. She and other people call themselves witches too. See, the word witch kind of, well, it gets a bad rap in some areas, and then in some areas, it is exactly what comes to mind, when you think of people dancing in the forest with the cauldron and mixing things up and that sort of thing. Not like the movie Practical Magic. No, I'm talking about women or men who purposely do things to make things happen. They manipulate energy to create a certain outcome. And there are people that, I mean, if they have the money, they can call these people up and hire them to do something. I know a woman personally who, and this is a while back. Gosh, she's been married for quite some time, but when she wanted to get married, she went to see a woman in New York City to cast a spell on the man that's now her husband. And this woman had her go get really bizarre things, like, I don't know, she had to get like a chicken and then a hair off something. I mean, really, like the stuff that you see in fairy tales or whatever. It was kind of like that, but it worked. It bewitched him, and he ended up marrying her. And just a word to the wise, if you're thinking of doing something like that, you never want to manipulate another human being and their free will, because it's never going to work out. It's not real. So what happened with this woman, I'm not going to say her name, but it worked. He was absolutely, totally head over heels in love with her. They got married. Sure, she's got material stuff. She lives in a nice house and whatever, but she's constantly looking for love. She's constantly having affairs, um, because he is not who she thought he was. So think twice before you cast a spell to make something happen, okay? Manipulating energy is not the way to go. All right? Just so, can you be cursed? Yeah. There are different ways of cursing. I mean, you can go to an absolute expert and pay big money. People do Santeria, people do voodoo, people do hoodoo, people do whatever. That woman in Romania just calls herself a witch. So I don't know. She said she does white and black magic. And when asked about it, if she feels guilty because people hurt or even possibly die, she said, no, it's my job. So um, she doesn't feel bad about it at all. If you look up John Ramirez, he talks about growing up and being, I don't know what you would call it, but um, oh gosh, I can't even think of the word. I keep, ever since that happened with my head, I forget words, so I apologize for that. But anyway, he was a priest. He was called to be a priest in Santeria, and he talks about doing stuff like that. People would come to him and give him $1,000, and he'd put a hex on somebody. Possibly they'd die, they'd lose all their money, whatever the case may be. It does happen. Now, sometimes, believe it or not, because we know how energy works, sometimes people put hexes or curses without even knowing it. Depending on what your soul tie is, remember we talked about soul ties before. Well, if you have a real connection to somebody, and they say, oh geez, I wish so and so would just get in a car accident. And then before you know it, you're in a car accident, you know? So you got to be really careful with your words too, because half the time that people say that, they don't mean it, but it's still putting it out there. So, God created the universe a certain way. And what I want to say is the way the universe operates, universal law, doesn't distinguish between I'm kidding, I didn't really mean that, I'm joking, or the truth. Like people who go around saying I'm broke all the time, you're actually building up that energy. It's really a fine line. The tongue is very powerful. So yeah, curses do exist. They do happen. You're not crazy if you feel like you're under a curse. Um, Sometimes people will do it just flippantly like that. Other times we have professionals that get paid to do it. Other times we have people playing around with spells that don't really know what they're doing, and um, they can do it too. So how do you prevent it, and what do you do if it's happening to you? Well, first and foremost, and this might not sound like something you want to do, but you need to walk in forgiveness. Because, first of all, for your own sake, you need to walk in forgiveness, because what happens if you don't is it turns into a bitter root takes hold. And that bitter root takes hold, and it grows and grows and grows, and you're actually rotting on the inside, rotting spiritually. That hurts nobody. It doesn't hurt the person that hurt you. So living in unforgiveness is doing nothing to harm them and everything to harm you. So that's number one, to live in forgiveness. But number two is it also creates a barrier. If they're trying to send you anything, it creates a barrier. Another thing that creates a barrier is love, and this can be really hard to do. Like when my husband and I have been divorced, let me see, almost 20 years. It's been like almost 19 years. And when he first left me, I was, you want to talk about devastated. Sometimes my clients call me and they think I don't understand, and I so understand. He not only broke my heart, he might as well have taken a sledgehammer and just pounded it, because it shattered. It shattered to the point where I never thought I'd recover. I didn't understand how people could deal with this kind of heartache. I was, if you can understand this, beyond suicide. I didn't have the gumption to commit suicide. I didn't have the will to do anything. Live, die, nothing. I was absolutely devastated. He did me a big favor though, and this will go into another video, but I just want to say it real quick. I did not realize that I was not feeling. Prior to him breaking my heart, he used to call me the Ice Princess, and he would say that because he'd say, "Can I do nothing that will hurt you?" Well, of course he was hurting me, but I was very prideful. Nobody was going to hurt me. I wasn't going to be bothered to anybody. I can take care of anything. At least I don't think I was arrogantly prideful, but I was prideful. I was like, I didn't want to be a burden to anybody. I never asked for help. I would take care of anything. If you tried to hurt me, I would cover it up. God forbid I cry in front of you and let you see. So instead of being vulnerable like I should have been to my husband, I was very, what I considered, strong. It's prideful. And he would think that, actually what he ended up thinking is that I didn't love him, which was not true at all. And he ended up leaving, and that like shattered me. So anyway, where am I going with this? Oh, okay. So I was completely shattered. And then he had the woman that he left me for, and they were together, and, they didn't hide anything. So I would hear about her often, and I was so, so heartbroken over it. And she was not nice to me. You would have thought that I like did something to really hurt him. He left me for her, and I was so devastated. I fought for nothing, so I walked away with zero. I didn't even get child support, but she hated me anyway. I think she still does to this day, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But what I had to force myself to do is Now I'm in the way less position. I mean, he's buying houses. He had like 2 or 3 houses. I had no money to do anything at all. I could barely feed my kids. I mean, that was the difference. And the kids were growing up like, with us. Oh, it was just horrible. But anyway, I sent them love. I deliberately every morning would send love and best wishes to them. And at first I had to fake it because I really didn't mean it. But then it becomes like you mean it. I really truly meant it. I wished him the best wishes, him and her both, that they got whatever they wanted, that life was good for them. That builds a protective barrier. If you're feeling the same way, like if somebody's sending you negative thoughts and you feel, the same way about them, you might as well invite them in to curse your life, okay? So that's one thing. So forgiveness and love. Raise your elevation, walk high, and also be careful. Because sometimes people want to curse you, they don't even know you. It's not a situation like that. They don't even know you, they don't care. And sometimes people want to absolutely destroy you. And people actually enter your life. This is how sick it can get. They'll enter your life to destroy your family. And these, if it's coming from a negative entity, which all of this stuff stems from anyway, they actually like employ people to come into your life and destroy your family. So stay away from anybody who tries to separate you from that which is good, separate you from a good relationship, separate you from a family bond. If a girlfriend or boyfriend comes in and they don't want you talking to your mother, brother, sister, whatever, and you have a good relationship, that person's not abusive, there's something wrong with that person. You want them out of your life, okay? Anybody who wants to come in and like destroy your job and you have a good job, they're not just, abusing you there. You don't want that person in your life. Pay attention. I think sometimes we get so blinded by what we think is love, or blinded by, people get blinded by sex or whatever, especially, that power and that's a true statement. Men get taken down all the time. Pay attention, open your eyes. Okay, I got off track a little bit there too. But that can actually happen with curses. People try to go after what matters? Family, money, health, your mind. They'll make you try to think you're going crazy. So what you need to do is make sure that you're not bringing this on. You got to make sure, okay, let's talk about money for a second. Have I put things out there that would energetically be my downfall to money? Am I saying things like you got to work hard for your money? Am I saying things like money doesn't grow on trees? Am I saying things like I'll never have anything? Those sorts of things can create your own kind of curse, okay? So if you are saying those, change them with positive affirmations. The other thing is, am I being a good keeper, a good, am I taking care of this money? I mean, if you're off spending way more than you make, and you got to have the best shoes and the best purse and the best dinner and everything, and you make $10 an hour, well, there's no curse on you. It's you, right? But if you're doing the best you can, you're working hard, you're being frugal, and you put $1,000 in the bank, and next time you look, you're negative 2,200 or whatever, you may have a curse on you. If your credit cards, damn well are you have money left, and you go to use it and it's blocked, you might have a curse on you. If people look at you poorly when you go to rent or buy or something with no reason at all, you might have a curse on you. Okay. The other thing you want to look for is, are you helping others with your money? Are you giving back? Are you recognizing your source of your money? That it's not you, it's not your job, it doesn't matter how much you work. It's God is the ultimate source. Are you recognizing that? Are you giving back? People that are too tight with their money, it might be your problem. You might be blocking the income source because you can't hang on to it like that. I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a savings account. That's not what I'm saying. But if you can't even give 10% to those that are spiritually feeding you, or if you can't donate to somebody in need, it might be your own fault. It might not be a curse. But if you're walking in all of these things, and these kinds of weird things are still happening, your account's being hacked, nobody's listening to you financially, you're not getting paid for services rendered, um, different things keep happening. That could absolutely be a curse. Same thing with relationship. If you're in a relationship, look at yourself in the mirror. What am I doing that could possibly be blocking this relationship? Am I being obsessive? Am I being needy? Am I being the best partner I can be? When you go down this list and you look at where your faults are and you correct them or you bring them to the table and you're all good, you can figure out you're all good, but all your relationships are fading away, it could be a curse. Same thing with health. Am I taking care of myself? Am I doing what I need to do? And I've got this unknown illness that I can't get rid of. It could be a curse. So, how do you block curses? First of all, like I said, you walk in forgiveness, you walk in love. You don't need to call upon any saints or dead people. You need to call upon the blood of the Lord Jesus Christ. Hold your head high. Hold your head high. And you just raise up your vibration, call upon the Lord, cover yourself in blood, and just ask that He says, I'll take care of it. Come to me, I'll take care of it. So you ask Him, take care of this. Send it back. Send it back. Send it back. If you don't want to send it back, send it out to the dry places. Send it out to the dry places. Don't tolerate it. You don't have to. You have the authority to stop it. Don't tolerate it. One thing that the negative entities, the enemy, wants you to think is that it doesn't exist at all. So if you think that, well, he's got you right there. You can't fight something that you don't think exists. Send it back. Send it back. Send it back. Really, if you need help with that, I will help you. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day.